Welcome to the Healthy Aging Pod. I'm Kelly Yee. You can follow me on Instagram at Kelly Yee Yoga or subscribe to my YouTube channel at Avatar Yoga. In partnership with EPC Canada, we are excited to bring you our Healthy Aging webcast series. Our topic today is why diet is so important to healthy aging and healthy living. Our guest today is Amy Yu, a registered dietitian and online nutritionist. Amy has a private practice and is an author, media expert, and workshop facilitator. She specializes in education for weight concerns, diabetes, bone health, and seniors' health. Additionally, she specializes in Asian diets, exploring how Western medicine and traditional Chinese medicine can intersect for overall wellness. She offers support in English, Mandarin, and Cantonese. So welcome, Amy. How are you?
Hi, Kelly. Thank you so very much for interviewing me. I'm doing very well.
Excellent. So today we're going to be talking about why diet is so important to healthy aging and healthy living. And we know that science and research tells us that diet is important for our health, but understanding healthy eating, nutrients, minerals, and diets can be very overwhelming. So why is managing our diet so confusing?
This is a very good question, Kelly. Diet, everyone need to eat to nourish our body. However, with all the information available online, I'm pretty sure you receive information on food, nutrition, and health from many different aspects, whether it's from social media or from the different kind of platform that your friend forwards to you. So it could be very challenging to differentiate which information is correct, which information has evidence base, and which information is just maybe only work for a couple of people.
So, registered dietitians in Canada follow the Canadian guidelines. And how does this play into, determining, healthy diets and especially, for many of us that tend to have, ethnic foods?
Now, first of all, as I mentioned earlier, diet should be personalized. Everyone's nutrition needs is different. So what I need to eat based on my age, my height, my body weight, my physical activity level, the stage in my life cycle, right? Whether I am a teenager, I'm pregnant, or I am nursing a baby, or I am in my older adult stage. So everything is different. So it's good to have a guideline of how much nutrients are needed based on the macronutrients. So how much carbohydrate, how much protein, how much fats do we need from food to nourish our body? And what about those micronutrients? So vitamin A, B, C, D, E, and all these minerals, they they need in addition to the macronutrients. So Canada, Dietitians of Canada or the Health Canada have some guidelines of how much you need in a day. There's some formula. However, for me myself, I always remember that everyone's needs is not just based on the guideline, but it's also affected by our culture. As you mentioned, we are both, I mean, I myself is an immigrant and we are both Chinese. There are a lot of cultural foods that we enjoy and we grow up with. And we still like to, eat the food our family eat, even though we have been living in Canada for a long time. And also, other than culture, what about our food preferences, right? Or our lifestyle? Whether you have a lot of time to prepare food or you have a family to feed. So, all these factors will affect what you eat and how you eat them. So, as a dietitian, I feel that it's very important to customize nutrition needs for different people. And that's one of the job I really enjoy. There's no one diet that fits everyone.
That's great. And it's also too, ethnic foods are not, doesn't mean it's not healthy, right? Like that's another thing that we kind of have to move past too. Like eating ethnic foods can be healthy, and you can have foods from your culture that both are unhealthy and healthy. So it's not necessarily you know eating Chinese food. It used to have sort of the stigma that it's unhealthy because it's might be greasy, depending on the greasy spoon kind of food that you're getting. But you know this is normal eating for people in all over the world, right? So whatever their background it may be. So would you agree with that? Like that's it definitely, ethnic foods from all over the world doesn't necessarily mean just that it's unhealthy.
I totally agree with you, Kelly. We shouldn't put a label on certain culture, food, or ethnic groups, right? I mean, if you think about it, this diet has, and I also try to remove myself from labeling food as good and bad. There are some food that give you more nutrients. Some food give you the fun of eating it. I'm sure there's like fun food to eat, whether it's chocolate or ice cream or cheesecake. We enjoy eating them. And I believe a healthy diet, can have both type of food. It's just that how much you're eating and how often you're eating them, right? So if you eat, in general, 80% of time you're eating a lot of vegetables and fruits, and you cook your food from the whole food, and sometimes you have a little bit of treats or food that you really enjoy, I'm sure they have their place for us to do that. I think the key is we really encourage people to cook more often at home. So when you cook more often at home, I feel that usually a lot of the time when people feel that food are greasy are sometimes because if you eat out in a restaurant, we all know that restaurant food are usually quite rich, and they might have a little bit more, oil or a little bit more seasoning. So, but we don't eat out every day. We eat out most of the time. We cook for our own or our family. And eating outside is more a social event for us, right? We go together in a big table. We enjoy food together. So I'm hoping that there's no stigma that is attached to any particular culture, food, or culture. It's just, I don't think it's the right way to look at it.
I love that you said that you don't really like to look at sort of good and bad foods, but looking at sort of the nutrients that you might be getting. And I do love that you address sort of this 80-20 rule, right? Like we can still have sometimes these treats for ourselves. Just how often are you consuming it, and how much are you consuming? One of the things that you also mentioned earlier, you talked about it really varying in your lifestyle. So, from age to perhaps pregnancy to whatever it might be with that's going on in sort of that time of your life. Um, so maybe we can go into, because that means that there's no one diet per se that's going to sustain you throughout your whole life, right? So how can a dietitian, help people live sort of a sustained healthy lifestyle throughout their lifetime?
This is a very good question again, Kelly. Like, when we sit down with a client, like I'm in private practice, so I do a lot of nutrition counseling one on one. And the initial process takes a long time because I have to find out a lot of information from my client. I need to know about them really well. I need to know about what they eat, their background, their family background. Do they have any, medical history in their family? Do they have any particular goal? Are they exercising? How busy are they? How many hours do they work? Do they have to manage other people's diet as well? Are they a caregiver? So all this will affect how I recommend what food to provide for themselves, or when a lot of Chinese they live with their family and they also cook for their family as well. So what I'm going to do is I will support them based on what they need and present them the solution, some of the options they have. Like, mental health and stress is really big now, especially after COVID hits. A lot of people are stressful about, how to take care of their own health and also how to manage all the responsibility and commitments. So for me, I see myself as a co-pilot or GPS or coach that help my client navigate through the confusing information first in the first place if they are struggling with a medical condition, or if they're looking for simple recipe, 5 ingredients, 30 minutes meal solution, then I provide them with the recipes that they and their family will like. So this is a big part of my job, is to help them save time and save money too, because if they can get to their goal in a faster way, they save a lot of time and they can spend more time doing things they enjoy.
So I really like your consultation approach and addressing that, everyone has sort of a different lifestyle. We're living all differently, whether we're maybe a caregiver, and you can be a caregiver to children, a caregiver to older adults, and maybe the older adults that are in your life or children in your life, maybe they have ailments like whatever it might be, right? Like allergies, etc. Um, so I love that you're saying that you kind of take this more consultation type approach in helping your clients. And I will say that, when we talk about sort of this challenge of understanding diets, it sounds like if we do have extended health coverage, because many of us do, we should probably be taking advantage of it, seeing registered dietitians more frequently, because our lifestyle changes like all the time. We start to age, we develop ailments, and many of us actually don't even bother even speaking to a dietitian because we just assume that, well, I did this when I was in my 20s, and now I'm in my 40s, and I'm just eating the same way I've always eaten even though the lifestyle has totally changed and maybe we've developed some sort of ailment or something. So yeah, I do think that maybe this sounds like we need to you know connect with dietitians like yourself more often. And I do have a question with that. Is There are both nutritionists and dietitians. And can you explain the difference between a dietitian and a nutritionist?
Yes, a lot of people they don't understand the difference between the two terms because to them I got asked a lot, why do you call yourself a dietitian with a T? In Canada, we spell as a T, not a C. So a dietitian, the name is in Canada is protected. You have to go through 3 steps to become a registered dietitian or a dietitian. For example, if I practice in BC, I get a license from College of Dietitians in BC, I won't be able to practice in Toronto or Ontario or Calgary or Alberta. Likewise, every province have their own regulatory body. So first of all, you need to graduate from a 4-year bachelor degree that is focused in dietetics, food, nutrition, and health. Once you finish the bachelor degree, you need to do an internship. Although nowadays, many programs have what we call integrated program. So the last year of the internship is part of the university program, meaning that the training is 5 years instead of 4 years. So when you finish this, you complete all this internship, 1 whole year, you go into different health units, different hospital, working to different medical units. You learn a lot during the year, including food services, children's hospital, women's hospital, all different units. And you pass the internship and you take a public exam. Once you pass the exam, you get your license. And once you get your license, you have to renew it every year too. So March is the time we renew our license. So this month I'll be studying again because there's an exam, mini exam I have to take. And I also have to prove that I have done a lot of upgrading, professional development during the year. So to make sure that we are up to the latest research or the standard to protect the public. In other words, the term nutritionist, if you take a 10 weeks course or a semester course on nutrition, you feel that you are very good in the knowledge of nutrition, you can call yourself a nutritionist. Then you can tell people, I can advise you, right? However, you don't necessarily go through the training and you don't have to pass the exam or get a license. And another thing I want to mention is the liability insurance that we have to carry ourselves. So every year, whether you work in the hospital or you work outside as a private consultant, we are required to carry a minimum amount of liability insurance. Even when I do workshop, I have an insurance to cover. So if anyone, because error happens, mistake happen, if those happen, then the client or the patient are protected because they will be covered by the insurance. So this is one area I'm hoping that people will be aware when they go look for the term. They can go to the College of Dietitians. They can find a list of dietitians that are registered in the college. So then they know when they see them, if they're extended health cover dietitian or registered dietitian, then they will be reimbursed. Because in the receipt, we need to write down our credential as well as our registration number. Just like when you go for a massage or acupuncture, those kind of health services.
In the next session, Amy Yu teaches us how to choose healthier foods when grocery shopping. Follow me on Instagram at Kelly Yu Yoga to find out when the next video will be posted. Thanks for watching the Healthy Aging Pod.